Still need to set up security for the bird. Now, it's going to be a little bit more spread out than this because this is only one squad. You're going to have another squad plus a few people probably from fucking HQ or mortars piling in to this circle. Now, when we dismount, come take a little bit closer look. You have the very last two seats on the ramp. You have that one and that
Microphone
one, very
muted.
last one.
Alright, that's
Their
better.
job, since they're the first ones off, is to button hook around and provide security to the front of the helicopter. That's their job. Now, the rest of everybody is going to start creating this huge circle behind the helicopter, as you see, and picking up the rest of the sectors. But their job is to button hook around. Now, where this helicopter differs from unloading, is you can't just do a mass exodus with everybody. Shit's gonna happen. People get thrown up in the rotors. They might die. The helicopter might fucking blow up. Typical Arma shit. So we gotta be a bit more civilized on how we get out. Now, if I'm sitting here in the last seat, I'm the second one to get out. The person sitting directly across from me in the last seat will be the first. I will be the second. The person next to the one across from me will be the third. And then the person next to me going towards the front of the helicopter will be the fourth. Makes sense? So you're going from front to back, and you keep going back and forth across the seats, like zigzagging. Y'all understand that? Yep.
How would you communicate that exactly?
You don't. You have to be in first person, and you look. So if I'm in this seat, I'm gonna fucking hold Alt and free look to my right and watch everybody start pulling, disappearing out the helicopter. And that'll be the same thing. Anybody that's sitting on this side, you'll look left, and you'll see people start disappearing or getting out the helicopter. And as soon as the person next to you gets out, it's your turn. Now, if they don't get out, could be some multiple issues. Either one, they're AFK, two, they're fucking lagging, they're desyncing, so they might be out, but on your screen, they're still in. At that point, they don't get out in like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You just get out. It's not going to cause any issue. Just get out. Don't hold up the rest of the helicopter just because of their connection issues or whatever. So as soon as you get out, you're going to fucking kind of get thrown about here. You're going to have your fucking weapon out, and you're just going to run, go prone. If you want to, you can fucking crawl up a little bit, find a spot, and pull security.
One last question, Sergeant.
Yep, set it.
So, in conclusion, the general rule of thumb is just watch for the guy opposite you, and as soon as he's out, you get out.
Not opposite, next to you.
Next to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because by the time he disappears, the person in front of you on the other side, opposite of you will have gone. So, one or like two people going, 2 or 3 people going at the same time is not going to be an issue. But when you have 20 plus people, 25, 27 plus people getting out at the same time, it kind of creates an issue.
All right, got you. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep. So As soon as you fucking get kicked out the helicopter, you want to call so and so's out. Find you a fucking sector to cover, get prone, and cover that sector, secure that sector until the helicopter lifts. It's gonna be the exact same thing now as getting out the Black Hawk. Pulling security, waiting for a move order. Bird lifts, Bird gets out the AO. Your fucking squad leader's waiting to get a move order from platoon. At that point, he'll call down once he gets a move order and give the rest of his squad a move order. It'll happen pretty quick. As soon as the platoon sergeant, platoon leader gets their bearings on the ground, so you'll probably sit in this defensive posture for maybe 20 seconds to 30 seconds after the helicopter lifts at the most. Exact same thing goes. You go in or out of a hot AO, you use the miniguns on the side of the birds. So that is it. Getting out, getting back in. Same thing as Black Hawk. You want to get in the same way you got in to the bird in the first place on base. Not with the precision and fucking, waiting in line, fucking kneeling and waiting your turn to get in. You want to get in as soon as possible. Call that you're in. You don't want to be the one holding up the fucking helicopter. And if you happen to be fucking one of the first ones on the gun, or one of the first ones in, get on that gun. Especially when you're fucking getting out of a hot LZ. You can start putting down fucking fire while the bird's still on the ground. Nobody's gonna fucking yell at you for a fucking PV2, a PFC, corporal, whatever, getting on the fucking minigun. I sure the hell won't. Fucking take an initiative, start putting down fucking hate and contempt on the enemy while the rest of your fucking brothers load in. That's fucking fine by me. I'll fucking stick up for you if somebody has a fucking issue with that. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Any questions on this airframe?
No, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Excellent. And yeah, as you can imagine, you're gonna get kicked out with fucking your fucking squad and another squad. So yeah, you will possibly be laying in between two people from a totally different squad. Don't worry. Don't try to fucking get here and start looking like this and trying to find your fucking battle buddy or somebody from your fucking squad. Don't worry about it. Your job at that point is just to fucking put down security, a defensive posture, and cover a sector. You'll soon enough rejoin your squad. So, alright. Let's move on down to the VIX. And if y'all do have any questions, on this, don't be afraid to ask, just because we moved on. It's
Microphone
fucking fine by
activated.
me. Alright.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
And the vehicle positions on where it looks like when they're moving, where the turret be facing is on to the side.
Alright, so this is the typical VIC that we use. This is a 6x6 Cougar. It's an MRAP. Mine resistant and but protected. They come in at least the same variant, but armament is slightly different. We have the option between the fucking Modus, fucking M2 Browning, 50 cal, or the fucking Mark 19, which is a GMG, 40 byte mic, grenade, machine gun. Both put down a lot of fucking pain. the M2 is probably more versatile for fucking mount. Just because you don't have the explosion and shrapnel effect, but it can shoot through fucking buildings. But at least you can use a fucking M2 and mount where sometimes you cannot utilize a fucking Mark 19 in a civilian area. Because obviously you don't want to fucking damage buildings too much, fucking collapse them, blow them up, possibly kill civilians with shrapnel. So this is our fucking chariot on the ground. You're gonna have roughly a squad in these Vics. So each squad will have their own Vic. I don't know if you, well, I don't think any of y'all were with us on day one or, excuse me, day two. But you have one fucking fire team that is in charge of the Vic. I mean, obviously everybody's in charge of the safety of the Vic, but you have one fire team that is going to be more in charge of the Vic than the other, because that fire team has their rifleman and grenadier assigned to the Vic. Rifleman is driving, and the grenadier is shooting. So that leaves the second fire team. They are always the dismount team. No matter what dismount is called, that fire team will always dismount. There's no point in them standing in the back of the fucking Vic. So I'm going to stay on dismount for a little bit. You have 3 types of dismount. You have soft dismount. Soft dismount means, obviously, everybody and the dismount team of that fire team gets out. So right there, that's 4 people getting out. The AR and the team lead of the other fire team, they get out. There's no reason for them to stay in the Vic. And the Mike and the squad leader get out. If he wants to. Kind of the benefit of being a fucking squad leader. If you don't want to get out, he doesn't have to get out. So, right there, that's 8 men out of the fucking Vic pulling security or doing whatever they need to do in a soft dismount. The 2 people that need to stay in the Vic are the driver and the gunner. Driver needs to stay in there because he needs to fucking maneuver the Vic if you start getting engaged and the fucking squad needs to now move into maneuver and maneuver on the enemy. So that is soft dismount. Soft dismount is everybody gets out except for the rifleman and the grenadier. Next dismount is hard/combat dismount. That is when everybody gets out, including the driver. Then the only person left in the Vic is the grenadier. Now, you gotta pay attention when you're the driver and you get fucking called out on a hard dismount to get out or combat. Don't go wandering off from the Vic. Don't go hopping walls. Don't go fucking kicking down fucking doors because you're now leaving your battle buddy sitting in the gunner seat. That is a dangerous place to leave him. He's up there, you're down there. Not every angle you have is good, and he might look like he's doing alright in there, but he's fucking slumped over because he's fucking been fucking knocked out from fucking rounds. Make sure you're in constant communication. Fucking a quick, are you okay? Is fine enough. Just have some kind of verbal that he's alright. If he's good enough, he'll fucking call back saying, what if he's getting hit? He needs to fucking bandage up or, he might be going down or something. Communication is always fucking key. You want to stay on that side of the Vic. Since you're the driver, you don't want to wander off to the right side of the Vic. Stay on the left side. You need to hurry up and get in that Vic to move it. You know, a fucking BMP3 or a fucking MBT, something that can do damage to these Vics, fucking rolls up. You need to get it, move it, get it behind some fucking hard cover, preferably a huge building. Keep it out of sight. Don't try to be fucking John Wayne with a fucking Vic and get your gunner a prime spot to try to take that, you know, put rounds out on it by keeping the nose out. It'll still fucking destroy the Vic. So, best thing to do is hot it, because these Vics are force multipliers in more than one way.
Sure, you'll show him a soft dismount.
We're kind of rant on here. Force multiplier wise is obviously they got a HMG and a fucking GMG on top. Plus they have fucking much needed supplies. They have extra fucking magazines, 5.56, fucking 200 round fucking belts for the fucking ARs, extra AT4s, 40 mics, bandages, fucking all that good shit that you could possibly need to kick some more ass. They have it in these Vics. So don't let it die. Don't let it get fucking hit by enemy fire. It can take a beating, but like everything, it has a point where it fucking doesn't last any longer. Especially the tires. Alright, so that is hard/combat dismount. Everybody but the gunner gets out. Last dismount is full dismount. Full dismount, as it's called, is everybody gets out the Vic. Now, this should only be called in a place like we're standing right now, in a fortified, friendly compound. There's no reason whatsoever for, at that very least, for that gun to be mounted. I don't care if everybody's out of the Vic, as long as that rifleman understands that his fucking battle buddy's up there and he's fucking got an eye on him and an eye on the enemy. That's fucking kosher. But they should always have somebody mounting that fucking main gun. So, you know, fucking ask the question. If somebody calls for a fucking full dismount in the middle of a fucking AO, and a Vic's just left out there, fucking ask, why the fuck are we leaving a Vic unattended? You know? If it's damaged, obviously that's one thing. If it's damaged, they can either fucking blow it up or expend all the ammunition and take all the fucking supplies out of it and leave it. But most of the time, they're going to demo it. But if for any reason they're fucking called a fucking full dismount and there's nothing wrong with the Vic, I would question it. Why that's happening. So that's your three type of dismounts. Soft, and then you have a hard/combat, and then a full dismount. Any questions on those three so far?
No, sir.
Alright. Now, in everything we fucking mount up on, dismount on, you're always gonna call fucking so-and-so is out. It's just good practice. It's not fucking overkill. It's good to let everybody know if you're in, you're out, what's going on. We go to line up, Vics are lined up, we're ready to fucking move out. Everybody loads up in a Vic. Fucking first thing that needs to be done is radios need to be set to fucking convoy net. Convoy net is 50. There's three people that have access to the radio: the gunner, the driver, and the passenger seat in the front. That is the fucking commander seat. Sometimes the squad leader likes to sit there. Sometimes the squad leader will make or will get the fire team leader of the fire team that's in charge of the Vic to sit up there. So the fire team leader, that leader of the driver and the gunner, he will sit up there and he will communicate with his guys. So there's no right or wrong. All right, so everybody's loading the Vic. Convoy net set. Somebody in that Vic needs to call up to convoy commander and say, convoy command, this is Vic 1, 2, 3, or last Vic, checking in on convoy net 50, over. And that is it. He'll come back saying, gotcha, Lima Charlie on 50, over. And you'll fucking out it. It's way more laxed than the fucking radio checks we do as a squad. Alright, that's out of the way. That gunner should have the gun pointed up. You see the Vics that are to your left and your right? Those are pointed up in the air. That's how they need to be when you're on base. Safer that way. So, remember, helicopters, Vics, a helicopter, the guns are pointed forward and down. The Vics are pointed straight up. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start moving out. You'll get fucking movement orders. Chances are your fucking map will be pre-marked with a route. And you can either bring up your micro dagger. You'll be able to partially see the routes there. But the fire team leader or whoever's sitting in that fucking commander seat should be calling out your fucking turns for you, or when they're coming. Now, on turns, you're going to be spaced quite a bit, not too far, but you should see where you need a turn. So, really, the only person that needs to have directions sent to them is the first Vic. But on turns, everybody, the only Vics that need to call out their turns is the first and last Vic. Turn left, turn right, turn left, whatever that turn is, it's always first Vic, turn left, or last Vic. Well, first Vic, turn left, and last Vic, turn left. That is said over convoy net. That lets the convoy commander know that the first and last Vic, plus all the Vics in between, are still in a convoy, and they all have all turned left. Now, if he doesn't get a last Vic's turn left, then he has pretty good reason to think that some shit has gone down in the back of his convoy, and he needs to find out what's going on. So instead of clogging up the neck with one, first Vic, second Vic, third Vic, fourth Vic, turning left, you can do all of that with just first and last Vic. Just like you're stacking up the fucking breach of compound, it's always first and last. It's not first and then whatever number the last Vic is. It's always first and last. A speed will be called out once we kind of get on an MSR or whatever of the KPH. It's good practice to keep about 2 18-wheel lengths between Vics. They don't stop on a dime. And that's the last thing we want to do is fucking ram the back of one Vic into the other, possibly cause explosion, all kind of dumb shit. So, if you're not comfortable driving, let your fire team squad leader know. Easy way, you can set a speed limiter on the Vic if you're driving. Once you get up to the speed you want, just hit the delete key, and you can hold down your W key or whatever key you use to make the Vic go straight or forward. You can hold it down as long as you want. It won't go past that fucking set speed limit. It's great. It keeps from having a slinky effect of speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, and yeah, just makes your life a lot easier. You have one less thing to have to concentrate on. Now, while you're in a convoy, you have sectors to cover. As you see these vehicles here, the first Vic, can't see it, but I'm telling you right now, that Vic is covering the 12 o'clock position. Now, that doesn't mean he's looking just 12 o'clock. He's looking at like fucking 2 to 10.
Hey,
He's scanning left and right, left and right. But he's not
Takes all
going
the L.
perpendicular. He's not scanning that far. He's just looking 2 to 10, 2 to 10 for enemies. He's looking for IEDs. He's looking for anything out of the norm.
So you're watching from
The
YouTube?
next Vic is going to pick a side. So in this convoy, he happens to be picking the fucking right flank, the right sector. So from like 2 o'clock position to 4 or 5 o'clock, he's fucking scanning. Probably even more than that, from like probably 2 to 6. He's fucking looking back and forth. Now, since he's got that sector, the next Vic is going to cover the complete opposite. He'll look at like fucking from 10 to 6. He's gonna keep looking, scanning back and forth, not just fucking letting the gun sit in one spot, watching the fucking road go by. He's fucking doing his job. And obviously, the last Vic is going to cover the 6 o'clock. So he'll be looking down the road, and he'll look at like the 4 to 8 position. He'll keep scanning back and forth. Now, any of those men fucking see fucking enemies, they can call up on a radio because they have access to their fucking convoy radio. They got a long range radio. They can use it. They'll call up saying, fucking, such Vic seeing enemies, west. Since you move in, it's kind of hard to give a fucking degrees, so just give a cardinal direction, west, east, up his slope, wherever you see them. Just try to give as much description, but don't try to give a fucking degrees to it. Now, that goes for the driver and the commander person that's in the commander seat. Those 3 people are the only ones in the Vic that can fucking see out of the Vic. The fire team, the and whoever else is in the back. They are AR, and either the squad leader, the medic, or the fire team leader is sitting in the back. Those fucking 8 people, they can't see dick. Those 7 people can't see shit. Only 3 people. So if you see something because you're in third person, fucking let it go. Nobody's gonna get mad. So, only 3 people that should be fucking stepping up on radio saying they've seen something is the gunner, the driver, and the person sitting shotgun. Now, say we need to start a halt. We need to do a short halt. We're not going to just stop in a straight line like this in the fucking road. That's just shooting a fish in a barrel there. So we're going to do what these 2 Vics are doing. It's only 2 Vics, but it's the beginning of a herringbone. So obviously, this is the first Vic. He is going to herringbone right. So now that tells the second Vic to herringbone left. The third Vic will herringbone right. And since there's 4 Vics in this convoy, the last Vic will herringbone left. It's always opposite of the Vic in front of you. Call herringbone. That's what we do. What we're standing in right now is the fucking street. And the Vics have pulled off of the street as far as possible. preferably behind hard cover, and giving the gunner decent eyes on the sector he needs to cover. Now, this Vic here, since it's the first Vic, it's going to be covering, the 12 o'clock position and like fucking 4 o'clock position. He's got a pretty decent thing to cover. Second Vic, he's going to cover from like 12 o'clock also, but he's going to cover out to 8. Then the third Vic that's on this side, he'll cover out from like 2, and then he'll kind of swing around back to the 6 o'clock position, since he's the last Vic on that side of the road. And the same thing on the fourth Vic that's here. He'll cover around like the 10 o'clock position, and he'll swing around and look at the 8 o'clock. You always want to have some kind of overlapping fire, something that they might have missed, you might see. Don't cross the road. When you're out, because when you do a Farrick and herringbone, 90% of the time they're going to call a soft dismount. You're going to get out. You're going to pull security. There's no reason to look back on the Vic except for the last 2 Vics. Since there's no other Vics behind them, they need to keep security looking back down the road here the way they came. So the part of the dismount team should be looking at the 6 o'clock of the convoy. The 2 front Vics, there's no reason for that, so they should be looking out the direction that the fucking Vic is facing. All making sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Put it dismounts, herringbone, spacing. That's pretty much it. It's kind of hard to teach you guys this, but we don't have the time like you will once you get billeted. It's not a fucking impossible thing. It's not something that's hard to do. Just with a little practice, it'll become easy. Now, one thing that I did forget, it is armored, so fucking small arms can't do shit to these Vics. If you happen to have somebody that goes out, your buddy member goes out, fucking take and put his ass in the Vic. Fucking drag him, fucking ace interact, and load him in a Vic. Let the mic work on him in a Vic. That'll fucking keep him safe, the mic safe, and allow him to do his job easier because he doesn't have to worry about getting shot. Now, at that point, there's no reason for that Vic to be stopped. If the fucking people are moving, your fucking squad's moving, a convoy's fucking, might have a soft dismount or hard dismount. Well, no, soft dismount, and you're escorting the Vics. Somebody goes down, throw them in a Vic. That allow the convoy to keep pushing. Allow everybody, the whole platoon, to keep pushing. Let the fucking mic work on him inside, and he'll get out once he's patched up. You shouldn't just have the Vic stop somewheres with the guy outside the Vic patching him up. So, all right, that's it. Any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Excellent.
No, Sergeant.
All right.
Microphone activated.
All right, follow me, gentlemen. Alright, come to the flag. Alright, some reason it doesn't work. So just take the, so we can't go back to S3, so just take the CQB and mount course and we just get that out of the way. Alright, follow me. Alright, everyone remembers what mount was, correct?
Say again, Sergeant. You were kind of quiet there.
Everyone remembers what mount was, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay. Alright, so say you're traveling in a movement, and then where either objective was a town, to clear out the town, or whatsoever may have happened. But we're in movement, and then we see a town. Town either needs clearing, or we saw enemies in there, we took contact. First things first, you're going to do is you're going to find some cover or wall you need to travel through while going to town. You never want to travel through the road or through the lanes of the road, because every single time there will be enemies watching the road, or it will be laying on lanes of the road, which will take you out. So we're going to travel through the walls, through fences, alongside them to prevent the enemies having better eyes on us. In addition to that, sometimes we have weapon squad, machine gunner specialists laying down the lanes of the road to provide us base of fire and cover as we travel through the MSR or any of the streets of the roads. In addition to that, we may have vehicles on the roads as well, getting us a base of fire, so you don't want to be in the way of the gunner. Moving on from there, we're going to start off with CQB, and then if we've got time, we'll go over mount. So first things first, whenever you're going to breach a compound or a building, anything that needs clearing that involves close quarter combat, you're going to stack up near the entry point. This is where we're at right now. It's not close quarters combat. There's no stuff that are preventing us from creating a larger spacing. That's preventing us from having a larger combat spaced out. However, this compound is more close and compact, so of course it's going to be a close quarters combat or a close quarters battle. So you're going to form a stack, nor on the wall or any place that's close to the entry point. As you see what these gentlemen are doing right now. Now, the base stack order is rifleman, fire team leader, grenadier, and then AR. However, it could change interchangeably. The team leader could be at the rear, or a team leader could be the third man. But you never want to put the team leader at a point because he's the first person that goes in the room, and if there's contacts in the room, the team leader goes down, and then automatically two SC to step up, and then you got to reconsolidate everything, and the squad leader will have you pull back because they don't want you to go in there so the team leader goes down. So never, if you're a team leader, never make yourself the point man. But however, the point man is always the person who's the best point man. Even though we say in theory that the rifleman's a point man, it's always your best point man. So whoever's the person that's best at CQB in your team, and who's able to get in there and take out any contacts and make the whole movement of the whole element swiftly, then that's your best point man. Sometimes you may have the AR be the point man because it's a weapon system. But if the AR doesn't know how to breach a room quickly, then you don't want to have him as your point man. Now to continue, the element will stack up on the wall, and then the team leader will go ahead and give the rifleman the order to go ahead and pie the entry point. The reason for us to pie the entry point is to give the whole element reconnaissance of what we're about to get into. Whether or not if there's enemies in there or not, what do we need to do to execute the breach? Should we move to a different entry point? If this entry point has a static weapon watching it, that's the whole purpose of the pieing. Purpose of pieing. So when it's time for the point man to pie, you're gonna want to make sure that you are standing. So everyone, put your rifle in your hand. So I want to show you something. You're standing first, and your rifle's on your hand. You're gonna make sure you press the Charlie key or double tap Charlie key, depending on what your preset is, to where your rifle is standing up the whole time. It's not doing this where it is at the resting position when you're moving. So go ahead and do that. All right, you got it, Holden. Navikov, you got it. Great. All right, so you're going to stand up and make sure that your weapon system is at that kind of position. You don't want it lowering down while you're pieing, because then you can't react quickly enough. So you can stand up. You're going to move a little bit further away from the wall. Make sure your weapon system's up. And then you're going to lean, and you're going to make sure that you lead with both your body and your barrel. You don't want to lead with your body, because then it doesn't give you enough time to engage the contacts. They see you first before you see them. So you're going to lead with your body and your barrel. So you're going to lean, and then you're going to pie very slowly but quickly. And you're going to get to as far as possible so you don't pass completely into the center of the fatal funnel. Fatal funnel is basically the place where all the rounds will funnel into. So this center right here, if we push this area, this is fatal funnel because every single bullet will funnel right into this opening. So you don't want to pass directly close to the center. That means that the only eyes you're going to get is from the room that you can see, the one that's away from you, across from you, and when you're pieing, all the way up until this point. So you do not have eyes on the closer corner to you. Once you get your reconnaissance, once you get that far into there, you're going to move back. Now, the reason why we tell you don't ever want to pass the fatal funnel is because if there were contacts in this area and you just took out a contact right there and then you try to pie this out, and then there's another contact right here, you're never going to know that there's going to be another infantryman that runs over here, or might be another infantryman over there. Now you're stuck in the center. You got fire coming at you from both sides, so you can't shoot at both the guys at the same time. So you're going to end up getting yourself down in the center, and we didn't even know what was in there. So you're going to move back. If you engage a contact, you're going to engage him while you make your way back to the stack. Now, the reason why we tell you not to engage every element that's in there, or any enemies in there, is because we like to not fight fair. So if there's something in there, we're going to push them with the full force, all four of us. If there's just one guy in there, we're going to push with all four of us, so then he can't be able to win that battle. He may take one of us down, but he can't take all three of us down, all four of us down. Alright, so you can move back to stack order and give your reconnaissance to your team leader. You gotta be somewhat of very descriptive so then he can know what we're coming into, what type of breach we gotta do. So I'm gonna tell him, we got a house or a building in the center of the compound. Looks like the left side is clear. However, both left and right have walls down to the backyard, and I'm blind on my right. He's going to take all that information in. Once you get all the information in, he's going to finally figure out or detail what type of level breach we're going to do. Now, there's 3 levels of breach. First one is lethal. Second, the other level is non-lethal. Then the third level is normal breach. Now, these are in specific order. Now, if I were to put in specific order by less amount of threat to highest greatest amount of threat, would be normal breach, non-lethal breach, and then lethal breach. Now, normal breach, you go in by the orders of the point man. So the point man, after everyone called that they are set, the point man would say breaching, breaching, breaching. Then he'll say going in, going left or right. So the whole stack moves as soon as the point man says the last breach. Now, for non-lethal breach and lethal breach, the whole element moves once that specific item cooks off. So in the non-lethal breach, we'll throw in a flashbang. In a lethal breach, we're throwing a grenade into the room or the area. Once the grenade or flashbang goes off, that's when we immediately move. We don't want to give the enemy enough time to recuperate what just happened. The grenade blows off, we want them being scared and looking at where the grenade came from, who's down. And when they're doing that, we're ready to shoot at them because they're not ready to engage us at that time. Alright, so once the team leader has been able to know what type of level of breach he will do, then he'll call it. Now, we'll use non-lethal breach if there is a hostage in the room, or if there's a civilian in the room, we'll throw a flashbang. Because we don't know if there is an enemy hiding in there, or if a civilian is actually an enemy, disguise himself as a civilian, and then as soon as he saw us, he's going to go run and grab a gun or whatever. So we want to temporarily disable whoever's in the room. Then when they're disabled, we're going to tie them up. Now, if there's enemies in the room, you're going to kill them, even if they're flashed. We don't want to give them the benefit of doubt. Enemies can pretend that they're flashed, and you want to try to bandage them up, and they shoot at you. There might be someone else in the room. You don't want to run in there and try to bandage your enemy, because you don't know if every occupant in the room is flashed. Then moving on from there, I'm going to tie up any civilians or any surrendering enemies, but if the enemy has a gun, you're going to take them out. Unless they say that they surrender. Now, grenades happens if we know for sure there's no civilians in the AO, so in the town. And number 2, we were told that there are no hostages or HVTs that were looking in this mission. So the mission or the op order did not specify if we're looking for an HVT, or at the beginning of the mission there was no HVTs involved, they won't throw a grenade. Mostly FTXs is where you don't worry about where you're allowed to throw a grenade if the weren't all of the FTX details that we're clearing the town. There's no civilians in the area. But in the operation currently in, you got to throw a flashbang every time because there's civilians there's hostages that we got to look for. But those are times when you throw a grenade and a flashbang. Once the team leader says low the breach, he'll say lethal, non-lethal, normal breach, and then he'll tell everyone in the stack to call if they're set. When you hear your team leader or the person in charge of the stack says call that you're set, at this point you're going to stand up, have your barrel up and ready. The same way I mean by when you're moving, it's still up. So you're going to stand up, your weapon system's ready to shoot, and then you're going to make sure that you're facing to the front. So your barrel faces to the front. If I'm the team leader, my barrel's going to be off the left shoulder of the man in front of me. That's the same thing with the guy in the rear, all the way down to the rear. You're set once your barrel's facing off the left shoulder of the man in front of you. So AR, he'll stand up, bring his barrel to the attention to the front, and then he'll wait until his turn to say that he's set. So the order will go off by the man in the front all the way down to the last man in the stack. So the first man will say 1 set, second man will say 2 set, third man will say 3 set, fourth man will say 4 set. Keeps on going until the last man in that stack will say last man set. So in the case of this stack, what does the fourth man say?
Last man
Last man set.
Last man
Last man set.
Alright, awesome. Alright, so when the last man says he is set, that means that he's faced to the front and ready to breach. Now, same time when you're doing this, you got to make sure that you're on full auto. We want to go in there, making sure that all we got to do is pull into that trigger. So all of our mind is towards shooting the contacts, not towards keep clicking it, pulling that trigger and shooting the guys. So you're gonna pull on full auto, so we can put more lead into the enemies. And if you have a laser, turn on the laser. That way you can improve your accuracy and know where you're shooting at, unless you're gonna look down the sights. Everyone understands?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright.
Affirm, Sergeant.
Now I'm going to show you how it looks like when it's time for you to breach from this side. Now the pointman will always breach the side he was blind on. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because if he was blind over here and he was not able to see anybody over here and there was a contact in there, he's going to go in, it says going in, going left, show any contacts you see in the center, and then go in and look immediately left. That's what you do when you breach. He's going to get shot from his rear and then automatically get down. At the same time, the man behind him is immediately going into the room. So as soon as I push, the guy right behind me is right on my tail. He's going to look right. However, yes, he's going to take out the guy, but at the same time, if this man is a machine gunner, he's going to start spraying, then I'm going to get in the middle of this fire and I'm going to go down. That's the reason why you're going to push the side that you were blind on. This way, you have enough time to take out the guy that was right here first before he starts spraying and preventing anyone else to enter in the room. Alright, everyone understands?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright.
Yes, Sergeant.
Now also, when you're breaching this room, and you're going, or whatever it is, and you're breaching this threshold or the entryway, you're going to make sure you don't stop here. Never stop at an entry point. You're going to keep moving until your legs get shot. And then when you hit the ground, you're gonna crawl towards your point of area you're supposed to be going towards. All right, 1 second. All right, there we go. All right. Now, one thing I do want to point that you need to make sure. Oh my God, why it keeps. All right, one thing I want to make sure that I want to point out with you is that if you go down in the middle of the combat, you shoot, your legs get shot. Either you go wounded, you gain consciousness, or your legs get shot. Do not stand back up. And one of the reasons why you want to stand back up.
The man behind you.
Yes, there's people behind you that are going in the room and engaging those same contacts. You can still shoot at them while you're laying on the ground. You don't want to stand up because they're going to start shooting at your rear. Once the whole fire is all done and all the contacts are eliminated, then you can stand back up. Alright, come inside. I want to show you guys how it looks like when you reach inside a room. Sergeant McCoy, if you can come help. Alright, you two, Private Holden and Private Novikov, go inside. No, go inside and watch how we breach it in. So I'm gonna show you how I do it first, and then I'll show you how it looks like when everyone breaches in. So as soon as everyone's called out, they're set, and you hear that last man is set. If there's no more breach, this is how it would go. breaching going in the left, or I'm gonna say breaching going in the left. Breaching going in the left. As soon as you go in and you say that, you're gonna go in and then you can take out anybody at the center. But as soon as you pass the threshold, you bring your eyes to this corner. When the corner is clear, then you're gonna swing your barrel exactly the way I'm doing. So you're gonna swing it from left to right. Once you approach your corner, you're gonna continue firing at anybody you see. You're gonna do your sweep. So you're gonna do the sweep from the left to right, then right to left. Second man will do the same thing. He goes in the threshold, takes out any contacts he sees in the doorway. Once he passes the threshold, attention to the corner. When it's clear, he'll swing around like this. Then do the sweep. Third guy goes in and goes the opposite way of the second man. Or goes the same way as the first man went. Third guy goes in, keeps his attention to the center of the room, and makes his way to where he's halfway from the corner and from the entry point. Fourth man looks just like the third man. Goes the same way where the second man went, or the opposite side of where the man in front of him went. Goes in, meets halfway. So everyone sees that from there? So when you're going in, you call out where you're going. Point man goes where he's blind. So he'll say going in, going right. Second man will say going in, going left. Third man going in, going right, and so on and so forth until you get the last man to stack. Alright, now we're going to show you how it looks like when it's a 3-man breach. Just imagine a 4th man entering. 1 set.
2 set.
Last round set.
Going in, going right.
Get breaching left. Left clear.
Right clear. And at this point, this is what you call the room is clear. Team leaders sometimes will decide whether or not the room is clear, or the last man that says room is clear, he'll say, last man that says right is clear or left is clear, he'll say room clear. Now, from this point, once we've consolidated ourselves and we clear out the first initial point of entry, we're going to make sure that the whole vicinity is clear, or vicinity is clear. So, from this point, the squad leader or team leader, whoever else is in command of this element, he'll go ahead and give out the next orders after he's reconsolidated with all of his men and make sure everyone is up. The next point, what we gotta do is make sure that the backyard is clear. So I'm gonna tell the guy on the left, alright, team on the left, you guys push alongside your wall until we approach the backyard, and then we'll create a crossfire. They're gonna say they copy, and then I'm gonna say, alright, push. We're gonna push together online. Alright, come over here. Come to the backyard over here. On my side. Now, we're going to imagine that there's a wall right here, right? They're going to keep on following this wall, and then I'm going to say, I'm approaching the backyard. That way, this guy knows that I'm over here, so if there's no one over here, he won't shoot at me. And then we're going to create a crossfire. And then whatever we see over here, we're going to take out any contacts. And then once that area is clear, we'll say backyard's clear or area's clear. Now, in this case, if there's a gate, or just like an opening like this is how it's going to play out. Especially if you come to my position real quick. What's going to happen is that the first man that's over here, he's going to put his eyes out down this area. Then he's going to say, alright, I'm set. You can go ahead and push down to clear out the backyard. Then, Specialist Gillen, he'll move past me. He's going to put his attention to the backyard while I'm providing cover for him down this opening. Or we can switch it. If I want the AR to get his eyes down here, I'm telling the AR, alright, put your gun down here. Then he's going to cover me. I'm going to move down and clear out the backyard. It could go both ways. Any questions or comments with this?
No, Sergeant.
No,
Alright.
Sergeant.
Once the compound or the courtyard is clear, the team leader or the man in charge of the element should have already judged or seen where the entry point was of this building and which entry point is more sufficient. Now, remember, when we breached in, we've noticed that the right side of this building, or to the north, is a longer way, so we could stack up on there. So, what I'm going to say is that, alright, team on the northern side, on the left, stay where you're at, we're going to move to you. Now, you're always going to remember that imagine that your butt is a magnet to the wall. You always want to stick alongside the wall. You don't want to push across like this. So you're going to stick alongside the wall and avoid crossing the entry point. You're gonna move to the other team on the other side. You guys can follow me while you're watching it. And once they've met up with the other team, and he's gonna say, "All right, let's move to the house." Then we're gonna move across. Once they're across and on the on the wall of the building or the house they're gonna breach, they're gonna move alongside the wall and make sure they're crouched and avoiding the windows. And that moves us to where these guys are stuck on the wall. And everything about CQB starts over again from step 1. This guy's going to pie it, open the door, it's going to pie, and it's going to move back. Now, since there's a short wall to the right, he's able to pie all the way. He doesn't worry about taking fire from the right-hand side. The only downfall about pieing all the way is that now he has to stay on this side. He can't move across. Because if there's an enemy in there and the enemy did not shoot at him, he doesn't want to move back and then lose the surprise of the element. So he's going to stay right here and then call out what he's seeing on his radio.
Question, Sergeant.
Yes, go ahead.
Should one of these men in this formation be covering the window?
No. I just hear now they're crouched and the enemy has not seen them.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about when this man is pieing, he's going to take out anybody. When he's pieing and he sees someone, every time it's always a person's first reaction. When they see somebody, they'll shoot at them, even if the person's not looking at them. He's going to shoot the guy, so whoever else was looking at this window is already down. So when he goes back his reconnaissance, it's time for them to call out their set, and when these guys are standing up, they don't have to worry about looking at the window. He's already taken out anybody who was hiding behind the window if there was someone down there. So that's why you don't have to worry about anybody in the window, because this appointment has already taken them out.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant.
Now, if we're moving from building to building, yes, you want to keep your eyes on the window and then get ready for stack. If we weren't breaching any compound walls, but when you guys breach the compound, you should have already taken out the guy on the window, and then if not, during the pie, you're taking out the window. Any questions with CQB?
No
Yes,
questions, Sergeant.
All right, go ahead and follow me. Now, mount is very simple. It's all about lateral movement alongside the walls of every compound. It'll be the same thing when you're moving from building to building. So just imagine our movement from these walls as if we're moving from building to building as well. So we're going to start from the beginning. Like I said, we found the town, we approached the town. So we're going to stick alongside the walls of the whole compound. They're going to move alongside the wall and continue their movement until they find the entry point. And what they do again, exactly what we just shown you guys. They're going to stack up and get ready to breach the compound. Stack up, they're going to breach the compound, clear it out, and then clear the building. When a building is clear, they're going to tag it. So you guys are going to be able, after OSUT, to get grease spray paint. They're going to tag the entry point and any other entry points of the building just cleared out, and they're going to tag it. When they exit out the building, this happens before they tag it. When they exit out the building, they're going to say how many of them there are who are exiting. So if there's 3 of us that were clearing out this compound, we enter the building, we're exiting out the building, we're going to say 3 coming out. If we were carrying a hostage, there'll be 4 coming out. When we exit the compound, you say it again, 4 coming out. And then you're going to tag the compound wall. This way, when we're coming by, any friendly elements coming by, they know that this compound is clear. Sometimes it prevents areas from remaining the compound because we've already tagged it. Alright, once compound's clear, they tag it, they're going to continue their movement. Now this is one thing that I want to show you guys is actually within mount. Now we have an alleyway. This is our limit advance. We can't run across because there might be somebody hiding behind this corner. So when they approach an area like this, they're going to hold. I see what Sergeant McCoy is doing right now. He's keeping his eyes on buildings, rooftops, anything on the second level. And he's going to be watching past my head. This is whenever we're holding our movement and whenever we're in movement. That's the job of the second man. The third man, his job is watching the first level. So the ground level of any buildings near us, from the cross street, and from off the left shoulder of the second man. The rear guy, his primary focus is when he's moving, he's going to keep his head to swivel and watching our rear. and looking for any movements down any of these streets that are right across from us. Those roles are everybody in the whole movement and when they're holding, getting ready for breach towards the compound. So we approach an alleyway. The point man, he's getting himself set to where he's watching down the alleyway. Now, if we need an AR to watch the alleyway, we think it might be more better for him to do it. The point man's not going to do this. Then the AR is going to come in front of his line of fire. We want to keep our focus and make sure we always have security out down there in front of us, which was not clear. So what's going to happen is that the point man is going to fan off a little bit down to the street. This way he always has eyes down this lane. The AR will move between the second man and the point man crouching, and he's going to move to the position over the point man's at. Once the AR is there, he say he's set, then the point man will go ahead and move to the rear of the stack. He's now the rear man. If there was room between these two, he'll take up the position of the second man. When everything is established at this point, the point man, or the first man who's watching security down there, will say that he is set. When you say he's set, then each person will run across one by one. Special Gillen said that he's set, I'm going to run across. I'm going to run as far as possible to where everyone else could get behind me. And I'm going to get security out still to the north, or in front of us where it wasn't cleared. Like I say, you always want to, at all times, make sure that this sector is covered at all times. I'm going to say I'm set. Then Sergeant McCoy, he's going to run across and either get behind me or get his barrel facing down the alleyway. So I'm set. Sergeant McCoy is going to run over.
Crossing, last man.
He's going to yell at crossing so that person
Set.
know that that's a friendly moving across. He's going to say he's set. Since just 3 guys, one Special Gillen heard that Special McCoy is set and covering him, Special Gillen will run across, and they get between I and Sergeant McCoy. Then he's going to say set and last man, and then the moving to stack continues moving. As normal, found a compound wall, entry point, and then they go ahead and resume everything else with CQB. One thing I want to point out though, whenever we have a friendly element with us, these areas are our danger areas. This is not cleared. So we want to move online with the friendly element that's across the street. So if we approach this danger area right here, the team on this side, they can't push on to second compound. Because we got to make so that means that we got to make sure this is cleared out. And as soon as we got a gun established right here, then that team will move across and clear out the compound. When they clear that out, then we can move up and then cross like you just seen and get ourselves to this compound. The team that was on the other side of the street, they can't move across because this was not cleared. So what I'm sure right now is that we always got to move online because we don't want to get shot from the other side. So everyone understands the basics of mount. Now mount goes to even more in depth to what I just shown you here. But these are the basics when you're moving through an urban terrain. Everyone get the gist of mount and CQB?
Yes,
Yes,
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Okay. Sergeant Margiotta, I'm gonna let you decide. Do you want these guys to go through the live fire, or do you think that they're okay with it?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's kind of hard thing to grasp. Everybody in a fucking unit, fucking still struggles with mountain CQB.
Well, as long as you guys written down the steps on how to do it, I think you guys got the gist of how to do CQB, and you guys gonna go through it during day 4, so that'll be your practice on there, and we won't fail you on there if you mess up on breaching a building, so long as you don't stop in the fatal funnel. All right, nothing else. I hand you guys back over to Sergeant Margiotta. Get us back over to the staging area.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I don't want us to run all the way down over there for no reason.
Alrighty.
There's no one else on the server but us, right?
So far, it looks like.
I just go supply sergeant and then clear our loadout, and then we'll move to the classroom so you don't need to use our weapons anymore. So just select the clear loadout option. Alright, go ahead and follow me, gentlemen. And now leave it to Sergeant Margiotta.
Say a link to Sergeant Margiotta.
Yeah,
He'll
no, I'm
leave
leaving
you
you
to
guys to him. He's
Okay.
gonna do the rest towards the ending. All the fundamentals of land navigation and tell you how to use your macro dagger, which is very
Yeah,
efficient.
speaking of micro dagger, make sure y'all both grab a micro dagger before y'all.
Good thing to remember that. And grab a map as well.
Map and macro dagger copy.
I think that's alright. Yeah.
Should be.
We don't need radios.
No.
Ready, Sergeant?
Yep.
Sergeant can't find either one.
Micro dagger is in the GPS section. The map is
Under maps.
just above that.
If not, you can't find it, I'll give you them. So map is under map, and then under terminal is where you'll find the micro dagger. It's spelled as micro, then D-A-G-R. So, do you have the Android or the micro dagger?
I should have a Android. Let me check real quick.
Copy. Clear out day 2.
Yeah, I got an Android.
Here you go. If you want mine, I'll just grab another one.
No, I ain't worried about it.
Copy. We're able to find it, Private?
That's negative. I'm able to find him, but I can't drag him in.
Just select them. You have to drag them. You just select them, and then it automatically goes into your position. Same way how you made your loadout. So go to terminal, then click macro dagger, and then make sure you have a map. So make sure map is selected, and it should be highlighted. And then you click close. So go ahead and try that. And then, so close it off. Go ahead and press Control H. Did something pop up? Or are you still in the arsenal?
Going in the arsenal, I can see him, but I can't drag him for some reason.
No. So do this. Alright, so are you on terminal, right? You see all the options for those various stuff?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, I want you to just click on micro dagger and that's it. Just click on it. Or select it. Did you do that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, so it should be highlighted. Alright, you're good there. Now move to map. So select map. And
Selected?
Yep, and select map. So when you select on things, it automatically slots it for you.
Yeah. What are the 3 flags?
Once
up there?
that's done, go ahead and click close. So either press the escape button or press the close button on the bottom left. And then if you could look in your inventory if you want to as well. And you should see macro dagger and map.
On the right.
Or just press your M key, brings up your map, and press your hotel key or your H key, and you should see something pop up.
I see.
Copy that. They're in my inventory.
All right, awesome. All right.
All right. Follow me.
Hell yeah.
All right, follow me, gentlemen.
Just take a seat, Sergeant.
Take a seat in the front together, preferably. All right. Get to go over the
Microphone
beauty
muted.
of land
Thought I could
navigation.
control these, but I guess not.
If you would, with the first slides, please.
Will do.
You talking to me, Sergeant?
Nope, I am talking to our cadre that's behind us with the slides right now. Alright. So if y'all press M to bring up your map, just kind of leave it where it's at for right now. You have vertical and horizontal lines on your map. The fucking horizontal lines are your easting, and your vertical lines are your northing lines. So the way you read a map is always left to right, bottom to top. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so we are able to get a 2-digit, 4-digit, and 6-digit grid reference with our maps. 6-digit is 90% of the time good enough for what we got to do. 8-digit will come in handy when you do, well, not us, but when you get billeted and you have to do land nav in your squad. So the way we read grids out, so if we needed to just get a quick reference to get everybody's eyes on a certain location, a 4-digit grid will suffice. So if we were going to get everybody to look at, put something brighter on here, this town here, we would use a 4-digit grid reference. So that grid will be grid ref 1417. We're moving left to right, bottom to top within that grid. So we could easily just say grid ref 1417, and that will get everybody's eyes where we need it to. Now, if we need to pinpoint that town, a certain area of that town, a little bit better, say, for instance, the church, most of it is in grid ref 145176. So you'll be reading from that grid ref to that grid ref. So we went from a 1,000 meters square with a 4-digit grid reference down to 100 meters square grid reference for a 6-digit. So 4-digit is 1,000 meters, 6-digit is 100 meters, and 8-digit, which we can't get, but there is a way to figure it out, will be 10 meters. Usually 100 meters square is sufficient, but say if you were dropping mortars on an area, 8 digits would be better. We would never drop mortars on a fucking church, but since it's the easiest thing to see right here, I'm going to work on that for 8-digit grid ref. So we know within 300 meters that this church is in grid 145176. Excuse me. Yes, within 100 meters, excuse me. We know it's somewhere in 100 meters of that grid reference. Now, we need to be a little bit more precise. The way we do that is we break down this in tenths, just like they did going from a 4 to a 6-digit grid. All they did was break that 4-digit grid down into tenths, and that made it into a 6-digit. But they did it for us, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we have to kind of do it manually. Kind of eyeing these up. But obviously you can see in what direction the numbers are going. So we break this down into tenths. The last number we'll have on the line will be 9, 8, 'I know it's not perfect, but it get us close. So back to this grid. So we know it's 145, 176. So we know that grid is that. We want to find that. This is going to be grid ref 145. So we need to find the 4th and the 8th number. So the 4th number, since we're looking on this, excuse me, why is this not working? Oh, that's why. Got to get rid of that. So we're looking at this line here. That's your 145. Now we got to take this line here, and we need to picture it way over here. So, you look at it, that would be the 9th spot. You see it?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes,
All right. So, our first set of that 8-digit grid ref is going to be 1459. So now we got to find the next 4 numbers. We know 3 out of the 4. The 3 are 176. So we always read the grid ref left to right, bottom to top. So now we got to move and find our 8th number. So that's pretty damn close to, I mean, however you want to do it. A little off, but 6, it's kind of in between. So, pick one. So if you said 1766 or 1767, I'd be okay with it. So last but not least, 176, and I'll pick 6. There you go. So you put those 2 numbers together, and you will get your 8-digit grid ref. So it would be 1459er 1766, and that will give you a 10-meter area on that map. So you can get pretty damn pinpoint with a location of something, or if you needed to drop mortars on an area, you can get pretty damn accurate to the point of dropping it on their head or right next to them. All right, so y'all see how I got that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Alrighty. Private Holden, Battalion HQ, this little black dot here. Get me the 8-digit grid ref for that.
Stand by. Coordinates on the map next to the battalion HQ.
Yep.
1528 1747.
Yep. I will take that. And Private Novico IDD
Microphone
air assault.
activated.
Give me that black dot right
Microphone
there. Give me
muted.
the 8 digits on that.
White one. Coordinates 1521733.
I need the 8 digit. That's the 6, but give me the 8, please. Or did I not hear you correct?
You didn't hear me correct. I gave
Okay.
you 8 digits.
All right.
15221733.
Excellent. All right. Yep. Sorry. Those last 2 numbers blid it in for me. All right. Good. So I am confident that
Microphone
y'all
activated.
know that.
Microphone muted.
Land nav is fun. Some people hate it. But you will get dropped off in the middle of fucking nowhere with your battle buddy, with a compass, your vectors, a map tool in your map, and you have to find where you're at on the map and then use fucking those tools to get from that area to another area and probably a few areas and to a finish area. So, pretty damn fun. All right, next slide, please. All right, you have colors on your maps. Colors help indicate areas of importance. Gray is man-made features. Blue, obviously, is water. Brown is relief features, elevation. That is also red. Not only is red railroads, but red and brown indicate relief and elevation. Green identifies vegetation with military significance. And they got bright greens and they got the kind of darker greens that just fade in with the background. The bright greens are the significance, but if you look where I'm pointing right here, you know, there's still got grassy area up in there. Like I said, red is railroads, black is grid lines or power lines. So if you plan on becoming deco or fighter pilot, definitely got to watch out for those. Thick orange lines are main supply routes, MSRs. That's your paved roads. Medium thick yellow lines. That is an ASR, alternate supply route. Those are the non-paved roads, but they're the nicer of the 2 dirt roads. The hollow lines are your quintessential back roads, fucking 2 ruts with that raised area in the middle. That is the hollow lines. So you have dirt roads, which are nice, which is your medium thick yellow lines, and then your hollow lines are your back roads. Next slide, please. So if you look back on your map, we are going to take a little trip to the military compound to the west, southwest of where I was showing you. So right here, if you need a grid ref, it's in, yep, 1216. So if you zoom in pretty far, you can see pretty good detail of the terrain of this area. These numbers here are just not random numbers. They are elevation markers for that area of terrain. Most of the time you'll hear them called out as, just say, for instance, Hill 9-1, since that's the highest area of that hilltop. And that's what you normally see when you're not scrolled in all the way. You know, so I'm at a 4-digit grid ref and I see Hill 9-1. But when you scroll in it all the way, you all of a sudden you start seeing these extra elevations. So let's scroll in until you see on the bottom it says contour interval 1 meter. Now, right here, it's telling you that, well, let's work over here where you can actually see. So they're showing you right here, this brown line is 87 meters above sea level. Now, since we're at 1 meter intervals, we now know that this next line is 1 meter lower, so it's at 86. This next line is at 85. Now, if you count from this one, which is 85, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know from here to here is 5 meters, so you're now from 85 to 80, 75, 70, 65, 60, 55, and you can see a trend happening there. So every red line is 5 meters. Every little brown line in between there is going to be a meter. Everybody tracking on that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes,
All right. Now that's a little on the extreme side. We really don't need that. We have devices that tell us elevation. So that's a little far into it, but it's still good to know. Now, obviously you can tell this is a pretty steep hilltop because the elevation rings are starting, and then all of a sudden they get really fucking compact as they expand outwards and go to flatten area as they go towards a valley, or they go towards another hilltop. But as it looks in here, it goes out to a valley all the way around. So that tells you that you want to find a easy way up. You know, you don't want to be caught on a hillside on extreme elevation, because one, you're going to be walking pretty fucking slow. If you get caught on that fucking hillside walking that slow, it's pretty much a death sentence. So when you're planning routes, look at the terrain, look at a lot of the terrain features we're about to go over, but look at the contour line, see how tightly packed they are. You know, that'll dictate what kind of speed you're going to be fucking moving at. Next slide, please. All right, so major, minor terrain features. Major would include hills, ridges, depressions, valleys, and saddles. Minor will be draws and spurs, and then a cliff. Next slide. I'm gonna start on a hilltop. Let's find something better to work with here. Much as I do this, I always misplace my favorite area in a fucking map. One second, gentlemen. Ah, here it is. Alright, we're gonna be looking in that area of the map, fucking grid ref 10. Can't even tell what the hell that number is. 18. Gonna be looking up in here. Alright. So this is your hilltops. I'm not gonna mark them all, but that is your hilltops. Now, hilltops are good for fucking getting a bird's eye view out, get a quick recon on either the AO or future route that you're planning on taking. It's easy to fuck up on a hilltop, and by that I mean skylighting. When your element gets up to the top of the hilltop, the best thing to do is fucking drop and go prone and fucking fast slow crawl to the edge and get eyes out. Going duck walking or standing upright to the edge is no bueno. You're just asking to get fucking seen and cause problems for your squad and or the platoon. So get up there, do your business, get down, start moving. You don't want to get caught on a hilltop because it's high ground. Yeah, that's good. But all you need to do is get a few enemies to make their fucking way around you, and you're pretty much cut off. So you have to fight downhill or wait for them to come up and fight them as they come. It's not always good to have the high ground at that point, especially on something that's this steep, because you got to get pretty close to the edge to look down to start shooting at them. So you got to come out from behind cover to engage them. So it's not always the best. So get up there, do your business, find what you're looking at, get a quick recon, and get down and start moving. That is a hilltop. Next slide, please. Ridgeline. This is your ridgeline. Kind of a funky ridgeline, but ridgeline nonetheless. So that is your ridgeline. Great to mask your movement from one side. So if you needed to travel from one side to the other, it'd be good to move and stay close to that ridgeline. Not going over to where you're skylining, but you're just far enough behind defilade that your cover is, excuse me, your movement is masked. Now, by being so high up towards the ridgeline gives you quick access to the other side of the ridgeline. So if you get engaged from that direction, you can easily hop over the ridgeline, get behind earth cover, and at least start putting out some fucking return fire. Now, if you happen to be moving in the same direction, but you decided to fucking be slacked about it and pushed halfway up the fucking hillside or the ridgeline, and you are halfway in between, now you are really screwed. Before you had option, at least one option, but that's fucking something. You can fucking jump over that ridgeline and fucking get behind, deflate, earth and cover. Now at this point, you have no options. You're out in the middle of fucking nowheres on the side of a fucking hillside ridgeline, and you have nowhere to go. You fucking move up that way. Now you have to move, 100 plus meters to get behind defilade at a walking pace. So you walk at 100 fucking meters, with your back towards the enemy. Or you have the option to fucking go fucking head on with them. But now you're still in a bad position because you're fucking on the hillside. Your angle, you fucking cover is shortened because of fucking angles now. So just keep in mind when you're fucking moving your men. All right, next slide, please. All right, saddle. So we can use the same instance here. So blue is friendlies. They're traveling one location to the other. They're using the high point of the hillside ridgeline to mask their movements from this direction. But they get engaged from that direction. Hypothetically. So instead of crossing a fucking hilltop, let's go for some lower ground. So you have, up in here, you got a saddle. Not much, but it's something. Saddle here, definitely more of a saddle there. That's definitely more of the saddle. As you can see, the saddle is the low part between two fucking hilltops. Where the hilltops go down, hilltops go up. When a fucking ground goes down, that is the saddle part. That's the better part to cross. If you needed to, fucking, if you can, if option allows it to, cross over there. Sometimes the difference between the saddle and a hilltop can be pretty substantial. So using a saddle to cross over to get to the other side of a ridgeline is the best bet. Especially when the hilltops are more extreme than a saddle, you get a little bit of protection on your flanks as you're crossing because of the raised Earth. Yep, thank you. Next is valley. So here to the north, westish is your valley. Right there where the white line is, that's going to be your valley. Valleys are your lower, flatter areas. Hence why most of your MSRs, ASRs are built in a valley. Valleys are great for, well, to a point. They are good for vehicle convoys, get you from point A to point B fairly quick. Quick being the key word there. You do not want to stop repeatedly in a valley, even in a fucking convoy. You're just asking for trouble, because that is a great place to set up ambushes, is inside valleys. Or depression, but we'll go to that in a minute. So, remember, you're in a valley. Get point A to point B as fast as you can, safely as you can, with as less stops as possible. Keep your fucking sectors covered while you're in a Vic. It's even more important to do that if you are on a foot patrol in a fucking valley, because then you're really in dangerous territory. You're fucking in a kill box. A fucking ambush for a convoy will become even more deadly for fucking soft targets fucking marching in a fucking valley. So what's good for them is bad for us and vice versa. Especially here, if I had to fucking set up an ambush in a valley, that's where I would do it. Right where that fucking sharp turn is, they gotta slow down, they start bunching up, set charges, fucking do what you needed to, and take them out. But that is going in a different direction. Alright, next slide, please. Slide, please. Fuck. Alright. So next one is a draw and spur. Looking back at the little area we've been working with. Yeah, let's pick something different. There we go. It's one of our, at least my favorite thing to use is a draw. So you can see pattern here. See where all these fucking draws are leading to? They are leading to fucking fucking saddles. So they're leading to saddles and they're fucking leading to a fucking valley. So all of those routes are possible ways that you can get up from a low area to a high area and vice versa. It gives, depending on the size, of the height of the fucking defilade or how deep the fucking draw is, will increase your protection on your flanks. It's better than just going up, like if you look here, instead of just going up this part of the fucking, moving up to that fucking hilltop, you have nothing. You're in the fucking most high part of the land there, when you can come here and use this part of the earth and that part of the earth as defilade to keep eyes from that way and that way, for the most part, from seeing you. Not everything's foolproof, but fuck, it gives you a fighting chance. Got enough not going for you. Not using terrain to your advantage is not going to help. So when you see the two red lines on the slides, gentlemen, you have the one in the middle, that's your fucking draw. The two outside ones are your spurs. That's where I would run a squad. I would have one fire team on one side and where one outside arrow is, and I would have another fire team on the other side. Don't commit them to the very bottom of the draw. Keep them up high, so if they need to engage enemies that do happen to walk across their path, the reaction time's a little bit quicker, and they will see the enemies before they really push all the way down into a draw. So if you need to, you have some place to fall back. Once you commit your entire force to the middle of the fucking draw, you have nowhere to go. But if you got them up high, you can at least start working them back down into the draw or whatever. Always give yourself options. But just the reaction time is going to be a little bit quicker if you don't commit them to the very bottom. If you run them up high on the sides, but still below defilade, it's better off. Survivability. Next slide, please. All right, depression. This is your depression. This is a low area surrounded by high area. So that would come the closest as whatever to a depression. Obviously you can see by what I've drawn here, that is definitely not the fucking place you want to be. Enemy has a couple outposts up here on some fucking hilltops. They're not that far away. If you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 400 meters, that's still within engagement range. 1, 200 meters, 2, 300 meters. So anywhere there are enemies on top of this fucking hilltops, you come moseying in on this fucking depression, fucking not thinking, you're in kill range of any of these fucking hilltops. So that can be, or should I say engagement range. So that's going to be a bad day. So try to stay out of fucking depressions. If you do have to move in there, do what I said about moving on a ridge line. If you want to get from here, to down here, You know, pick it and fucking work yourself up and over and then come down that draw. You know, just don't think because it's the easiest way to fucking go through the middle and do that number, because that's exactly where they want you. Next slide, please. Cliffs. All right, let's take a little trip up here, gentlemen, to grid ref 0521 up in this general facility. As you can see, it's pretty fucking tightly packed contour lines, and you haven't even zoomed in yet. As you zoom in, you can see that they get ridiculous. That is very extreme elevation. You're looking at a lot of stuff here by the castle, up to 350 meters, and you're going all the way down to 0. So elevation change is fucking drastic. Just be careful when you have a cliff to one side of you, because that side is now pretty much off limits. If you need to use that side as an escape route, or if you had to break contact and start moving that way, it's not going to work too well for you. So just keep that in mind when moving along a ridge line. So if you were moving, on that route, you got a lot of rocky outcrops and a lot of terrain on that side of you. Actually, I should be putting that the opposite way. You got a lot of, which looks like great fucking concealment cover, but it isn't. You're not going to walk that fast down, so that's the same thing as trying to fucking walk up slope. Walking down slope, you can't go that fast. And trying to fight in that fucking terrain is going to be hell. Because usually there's large rock outcrops. You could fall, kill yourself, get stuck where nobody can get to you. It's just not an ideal place to fall back to or even get into. Now, as you can tell, if you wanted to ambush somebody, a patrol, and they on that road, you can hit them from, a couple sides, and they don't have anywhere to go. They would try to go that way or back that way. So they're going to have to stand up and fight you. They're not going to want to push back towards a fucking cliff because it gives them no options. Maybe in a desperate move, they will do that, but a sane person wouldn't push his guys deeper into fucking terrible terrain. It might be good for a momentary, but it's not going to be good. So that is a cliff. I believe that is the last of the slides, Sergeant. All right. Before we move on, any questions on those gentlemen?
No, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
All right. So let's see if y'all's microdaggers work. So press the hotel key, H key, and your microdagger should pop up on the left bottom side of your screen. Now, on your microdagger, you got some useful information. The top middle is in-game time. Always check that when you load in. If it's around $1,500, fucking make sure you got your NVGs. It might be bright. It'll soon get dark, and you'll be fighting in the fucking dark. Bottom left is your fucking bearing in degrees in which your body is facing. You can free look all you want. holding left alt, that will not change. You gotta move your entire body to make that change. The grid ref in the very bottom middle, that is the 6-digit grid reference you are standing in at that moment. And obviously the cardinal direction is on the bottom right. That only changes when your body moves, just like your bearing. Now, if we hit the control hotel key, it brings it up to something that we can interact with. If you take your mouse cursor and you run it over the screen, you'll see a yellow line with an arrow coming off of it. And as you move that around, there is a tinted window on the screen with a 6-digit grid ref, meters and elevation, kilometers, and your cardinal and bearing also. So obviously, let's go with the 6-digit grid reference that's in that colored screen. That 6-digit grid reference is where the tip of that yellow arrow is pointing. But as you move it, you'll see the grid ref change. Next is elevation. That is the difference in elevation between you and that arrow tip. Next is your kilometers. So let's say we had to go up to S3 recruit training classroom, the little black dot. We're roughly 90 meters away. So you're just gonna have to translate or translate from kilometers to meters at that aspect. You know, don't give out 0.09 kilometers. Somebody's gonna look at you weird. Just fucking move it over to just fucking 90 meters. And it also tells us that we have to travel 009 degrees almost due north from our position to get that position. So even though I'm facing fucking east, it's still telling me that I have to travel north on a bearing of 8009 degrees north for about 90 meters, and I will reach my destination. So it comes in fucking pretty damn handy with all of that. Now, I would suggest getting used to running with your micro dagger up on your screen. It gives you a quick bearing. So instead of bringing up your compass, pressing K, and waiting for that to come up and waiting for it to stop rolling, just roll with that on your screen. It gives you 2 of the 3 Ds when you come into contact. You got your description, and you got your degrees. The only thing you're missing is your fucking distance, and you can pull your vectors out to get that. But at least you have 2 of the 3. You're telling people what to look for and where to look for that. And I can promise you 90% of the time, they'll see it before you give them a range. Now, that's not saying don't fucking finish off the 3Ds and not give them a range. It's just at least you're throwing those 2 out there and you're already getting them looking. And they probably will start engaging them in a timely fashion. So just get used to running with it up. Now, don't let it be too much of a crush. Don't let it fuck up your situational awareness. Need that. So, it's good reference, but don't let it be a crutch. That's it. Any questions on the 2 subjects that I went over?
No, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right. You have anything to add, Sergeant Smith?
Nope.
Microphone
Nothing
activated.
towards the lanyard
Well,
portion, no.
I mean, anything in general before we close off today.
Make sure you guys are on time on Thursday.
Yep, there you go. 15 minutes early is on time. Being here 1 minute before is fucking late. Y'all know how it goes.
Copy that, sir.
So, looking forward to day 4. Hopefully, with enough people, we'll have a full squad. Each of y'all will be a team lead. Make sure you do your PCCs, your pre-combat checks, get your fucking everything done. Your comms check. You know, be proactive. Don't wait for you guys to do it. Get in there. Fucking start radio checks with them. Make sure they got what they need. Just for example, their vectors, their fucking mags, throwables, and very important fucking extra belts for the AR. You don't want your AR going black in the middle of the fucking operation, and that's just a fucking paperweight. And feeding 30 round fucking mags to a AR is even more of a waste. So, just take the initiative and, for the love of God, communicate. Don't hold up. Don't hold back with what actual is sending you information-wise. It even helps fucking saying it as you're hearing it. So as you hear it come over SquadNet, fucking key up on your fucking TeamNet and fucking just start repeating it. So you don't have to completely, it's easier than trying to sit there, listen to the whole message, remember it, and go back and repeat it to your guys. And that's the last time you ever hear me say fucking repeat. So, communicate with you guys, give them some kind of direction, be a leader, and communicate. And don't get tunnel vision. I know being a team lead, you want to fucking shoot shit, but your first responsibility is focusing your guys, those 3 guys under you, focusing in their weapon systems, getting them to the fight, and when need to, you can fucking get in the fight also, but directing them comes first. So that's all I'm gonna preach for today. I don't have anything else to say. Sergeant McCoy, Specialist Gillen, y'all have anything for these gentlemen before we dismiss them?
Good luck on Thursday, gentlemen.
Excellent.
I got nothing.
All right. Any last questions, gentlemen?
No, Sergeant.
All right, gentlemen. Class attention. Class dismissed. Y'all have yourself a wonderful Tuesday night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Sergeant.
Are you gonna build something, Smith?
Nope.
You're not?
No. Building what?
What do you mean? Building what?
You said I'm not building something.
Thursday?
Oh, I thought you meant like building as in like building something right now.
User left your channel. User disconnected from your
Probably
channel.
heard me. Probably not. Right, that's clear. And then that's closed.
Alright, I'm out of here. I'm
Should
so
be lag
tired.
now.
Yeah, how's your butt feeling from last night?
It's a little loose. It's not as sore as it was, but
For a while last night.
Microphone
Alright,
muted.
thank you guys so much
Alright.
for watching.
Yeah, squad
See
training.
y'all next time.
How's that work?
Yeah, you didn't miss much. It was a fucking.
Actually, no. I just got off for me. So I'm pretty sorry.